hardest thing about ADHD and depression is that I'm simultaneously unable to focus on anything while also ruminating obsessively about everything. This powerful quote from one of our patients captures something many people experience but rarely talk about openly. Imagine navigating a stormy sea with a broken compass and a punctured life vest. This is how many describe living with both ADHD and depression, two conditions that, when combined, create challenges far greater than either one alone. I'm Ionatan Cauneac, a psychiatric nurse practitioner here at the center, a place of hope. And today, we're diving into this complex relationship that affects millions but remains widely misunderstood. By the end of this video, you'll understand why these conditions often travel together and how they impact every area of life. And most importantly, how integrated treatment can lead to real healing. Let's start with some sobering statistics that might surprise you. Between 18 and 53% of adults with ADHD also experience depression. And that's not a small overlap. That's a massive connection we can't ignore. About 40% of children with ADHD will develop depression by adulthood. And here's what's really concerning. Approximately 15% of people diagnosed with depression actually have undiagnosed ADHD. But the most alarming statistics, when both conditions are present together, suicide risk increases by 300% compared to the general population. Those aren't just numbers. They represent real people experiencing real suffering, often prolonged because one condition masks the other or treatment only addresses half the equation. So, why is this combination so under-recognized in clinical practice? The problem is that depression often gets the spotlight while ADHD hides in the shadows, or vice versa. One condition overshadows the other, leaving patients partially helped out, but still struggling. The relationship between ADHD and depression isn't simple. It's not just that they happen to occur together. They actively influence each other in a bidirectional way. So how ADHD can lead to depression? Well, think about the cumulative impact of living with ADHD in a world designed for neurotypical minds. Years of perceived failure and criticism create what we call learned helplessness. And that's the belief that no matter what you do, you'll fail anyway. Chronic stress from constantly working harder than others for the same results depletes your emotional reserves. Think about it as if you're playing at a difficulty level that is much higher than other people. Relationship difficulties from ADHD behaviors like interrupting, forgetfulness, or emotional reactivity leave many feeling isolated. Educational and career underachievement, despite good intelligence, this damages self-esteem over time. One of our patients, a brilliant software engineer, described it perfectly. By my 30s, I'd spent so many years feeling like I was constantly disappointing everyone that depression felt inevitable. It wasn't sadness so much as complete exhaustion from trying to be normal all the time. Let's talk about how depression complicates ADHD. Depression doesn't just coexist with ADHD. It actively worsens ADHD symptoms. Motivation deficits compound the difficulty in starting tasks that are already challenging with ADHD. Energy depletion makes it even harder to sustain attention. Negative thinking patterns amplify the self-criticism already common in ADHD. Sleep disturbances from depression further fragment concentration. Neurologically, depression affects many of the same brain regions already compromised in ADHD, particularly the prefrontal cortex, responsible for executive functions. It's just like adding more weight to someone already struggling to carry the load. At the center, a place of hope, we understand that mental health conditions affect every dimension of a person's life. The combined impact of ADHD and depression perfectly illustrates why we need a whole person approach to treatment. There is a physical dimension to all this. The body bears the burden of this dual diagnosis in numerous ways. For instance, sleep disturbances cycle between depression's insomnia and ADHD's can't shut off my brain nighttime hyperactivity. Eating patterns get disrupted, fluctuating between depression-related appetite changes and ADHD-related forgetting to eat or even stress eating. You experience physical restlessness from ADHD, colliding with the fatigue and heaviness of depression. Self-care becomes neglected as executive function struggles make even basic routines challenging. There's an emotional dimension as well. Emotionally, this combination creates particularly painful contradictions. You feel simultaneously overwhelmed and underwhelmed by life. You experience intense emotions, but also emotional numbness, sometimes even at the same time. You're self-critical about symptoms, yet unable to change behaviors. You cycle between impulsivity and complete paralysis. One young woman described this emotional paradox beautifully and quote, "With ADHD, I feel everything too intensely. With depression, I feel nothing at all. Somehow, impossibly, I experience both states at once. It's like being both on fire and frozen solid," end quote. Let's talk about the relational and spiritual dimensions next. Relationships suffer as social withdrawal from depression conflicts with ADHD's need for stimulation. Communication becomes difficult as depression's negative filter distorts ADHD's already challenging social interactions. Spiritually, you might experience a crisis of meaning as depression's hopelessness collides with ADHD's difficulty maintaining direction. There's often identity confusion about whether symptoms represent the real me. Let's now talk about why diagnosis is so complicated. Well, diagnosing concurrent ADHD and depression presents unique challenges, and here's why it's often missed. The symptom overlap between these conditions creates significant confusion, and let me give you some examples. Number one is focus problems. ADHD shows up as difficulty sustaining attention on non-stimulating tasks, while depression, on the other hand, manifests as concentration problems from mental preoccupation. Both result in work and school performance issues. Number two, energy issues. ADHD presents as hyperactivity alternating with motivational problems, while depression shows up as fatigue and loss of energy. Both can appear as procrastination or avoidance. Number three, sleep disruption. ADHD makes it difficult to turn off your mind at night, while depression causes early morning awakening or even hypersomnia. Both result in daytime fatigue. This overlap explains why approximately 20% of those diagnosed with depression may actually have undiagnosed ADHD, and why many with known ADHD have depression that goes untreated. Let's now talk about treatment solutions. Here's the good news. Effective treatment is absolutely possible, but it must address both conditions simultaneously rather than sequentially. There are medication considerations. Medications can be highly effective, however, they require careful management. Stimulants may effectively address ADHD symptoms, but can sometimes worsen the anxiety associated with depression. Antidepressants alone may lift your mood, but leave ADHD symptoms completely untouched. Combined approaches often work best, typically starting with the more severe condition. In addition to stimulant medications, there are non-stimulant ADHD medications like atomoxetine, which may be beneficial when traditional stimulants exacerbate depression or anxiety. In addition to pharmaceutical treatments, there are therapeutic approaches. Various therapeutic modalities offer significant value. Number one being cognitive behavioral therapy, which addresses both negative thought patterns and executive function challenges. There's mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, which helps with attention regulation and depression relapse prevention. Another modality is dialectical behavioral therapy skills, which support emotional regulation difficulties common to both conditions. Here at the Center, a Place of Hope, our whole person approach includes physical healing through nutritional assessment, sleep restoration, exercise planning, and medication management when appropriate, emotional processing through evidence-based therapies, emotional regulation skill development, and reframing negative thought patterns, relational restoration through communication skills, boundary setting, and building support systems. We also do spiritual work here, spiritual connection through meaning exploration, value clarification, and purpose development. So how are we to live well beyond our symptoms? Well, recovery isn't just about reducing symptoms. It's about creating a life of meaning, connection, purpose, even if some symptoms persist. Many individuals with both ADHD and depression discover that their unique neurological makeup, once understood and properly supported, of course, offers distinctive strengths alongside its challenges. Consider some potential strengths that can emerge. Number one, creative thinking that connects ideas in unexpected ways. Number two, emotional depth and empathy born from the personal struggle. Number three, there's resilience and problem-solving skills developed through necessity. Number four, authenticity, self-awareness gained through the recovery journey. Well, what are some daily practical strategies for focus and executive function? Number one, break tasks into smaller steps. Use external structures like timers and apps, and there's a lot out there, including on YouTube. Incorporate movement breaks and schedule tasks based on energy patterns. For mood and emotional regulation, we can track mood patterns, develop a menu of coping strategies, practice self-compassion, and establish daily self-care, non-negotiables. For physical well-being, establish consistent sleep times, create calming bedtime routines, plan meals to stabilize blood sugar, and incorporate daily movement. For relationships, we can educate key people about both conditions, develop clear communications about needs, and build a diverse support network. In conclusion, living with both ADHD and depression presents real challenges. But with proper understanding and comprehensive treatment, many people not only stabilize, but truly thrive. There is hope. The journey requires patience, as improvements often come gradually and setbacks are normal parts of the process. At the Center, a Place of Hope, we've witnessed countless individuals transform their relationship with both conditions, moving from being defined by their diagnoses to integrating them as just one aspect of their rich, complex lives. If you're struggling with both ADHD and depression, remember this: you are not broken, you are not alone. And with the right support and understanding, a meaningful, connected life is absolutely possible. The path forward may not be linear, but each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a life of greater ease, purpose, and joy. If this resonates with you or someone you know, please share this video. And if you're seeking comprehensive whole person care for ADHD and depression, visit our website at aplaceofhope.com. The link is in the description. Subscribe for more videos that address the full complexity of mental health. And remember, healing is possible when we address the whole person, not just the symptoms. Until next time, be kind to yourself as you navigate this journey.